This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So, Janhvi, I see this lovely video of the two of you rehearsing for Jingat. And I'm thinking maybe Farah Khan will pop into the frame somewhere, but she doesn't. So tell me about, I mean, it looks as though you guys had enormous fun filming the song, rehearsing for it. And where was that video taken?
I think the rehearsal video that you're talking about is what we...
He's leaning against a mirror.
Oh, right.
You come from behind him.
That was yesterday. We were rehearsing for what we did today. But as far as the film, what we shot in the film goes, we had, I think, 1 day of rehearsals for the hook step. And then after that, I think Farah ma'am and Shashank both decided that they didn't want us to rehearse it too much. And that they wanted it to look as raw and as natural and, disorganized as possible. And so, yeah, the rehearsal process for the film, for this song, wasn't as much. But for what we want to perform for all of y'all now with the song launches is more extensive. But it's been a lot of fun, both things.
And that was deliberate on your part because, it's such a trippy song. I would imagine that you can just go in there and do anything. It'll look cool.
I actually had to kind of control my natural instinct of choreographing everything because I'm such a Bollywood buff and I've grown up on so much of 90s cinema and just seeing the hero heroine dance in front of all the dancers that when Farah and I met, we said, let's just keep it as raw. But we wanted to have a hook. We wanted to have this one step the whole country can relate to. And, we always believe if the drunk uncle in a wedding is dancing to your step, then that's the best thing.
And you have these two good luck charms of yours, which is Varun and Alia. You're great mates. You've been involved in 2 super hit movies. But this one, you were really convinced that it had to be completely fresh faces. Though I would argue that they're completely fresh because, you're talking about 2 sensations even before they debuted. But that was the idea, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, it's very funny that when we actually saw the screening of the movie, Ishaan saw the movie when I saw it. I'd already seen it earlier. I wanted to show Karan the movie. And Varun was also at the screening seeing the film. And we finished seeing the thing and I'd already kind of told Varun that, listen, I'm looking to adapt Sairat and I think I'm going to be working with Ishaan and Janhvi. And of course, he sulked for like 2 minutes. And then he saw the film and he came out and he's like, I think you're correct. It cannot be anyone else because the film needs a fresh energy. The film needs 2 people who you don't have an opinion about. You don't know how they look. You don't know how they talk. And I think that's the innocence we were chasing. And I think that's the innocence we've got.
And did you find out just like that? I mean, in the sense he just calls you one fine day and says you're on.
It was exactly just like that. In fact, it was on the journey to the preview theatre where we saw the film where he said, this film we're about to watch. I was like, yeah. He said, I want to make this film with you in it. And I was like, acha? I think that was all. And then at the time we were in talks for a different film with Karan sir.
So you were already hanging out with each other?
Yes,
things
I was hanging out with Shashank in particular because, firstly because Karan sir allowed me to hang out with him with one of his, talents. But I'd really liked his previous work and I think Karan sir was considering me for a different part in a different film. But when he broke this news to me, I was quite flabbergasted. I didn't know how that would work. And he said, you don't have to worry about all those things. Just sit tight, watch the movie and tell me what you feel. And that's how it happened.
And then obviously you saw the film and you were blown over.
I saw the film and I completely...
Who doesn't get blown over?
Yeah, and I was completely... I lost all, opinions and preconceived notions I had, and I forgot that this is a film that he's considering to make with me. I was just very involved with it, and I was very moved by it, and of course, it's a very powerful film, making a very powerful statement, and at the same time, it's so dreamy and so lovable and so beautiful. So I was very taken in by the film, and only after I came out of that space was when it sunk in that he wants to make this film and adapt it in Hindi and have me perform the lead part. So it was quite overwhelming that night.
So what point exactly, Janhvi, did you decide that you wanted to be an actress? How early did that realization hit you? Was there some other career track and then it changed, or what are your earliest memories?
I think that I was always inclined to movies. I've been very passionate about cinema for as long as I can remember. It's always been something that we've discussed at home. As in, every discussion is always about films. Every time we spend time with each other, it's talking about movies, or we go out, we watch a movie, or when we're on a holiday, it's for like either dad's shooting or mom's shooting. So it's been a very big part of my life always. But I think that I reached a point in my life where I wanted to explore other possibilities. So after school, I decided that I wanted to do an acting course, and I wanted to do an art history course and a fashion course. And I started with the acting course, and it just felt right. I just felt like I want to do this more than anything else.
And did you go to Lee Strasberg?
I did, yes.
Now the jury is out on Lee Strasberg. Like Ranbir, for example, says it was crap.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
I mean, I don't
he said
wanna
it to
say
me on
that.
the
I
mic.
feel like
But at the other end of the spectrum, sorry to interrupt you, but Cyrus Brocha, believe it or not, that madcap, he also went to Lee Strasberg, and he thinks it's really cool. So where do you stand as far as the school is concerned?
I think every experience is what you make of it. I think that school had a lot to offer, but I don't think personally. I think I've learned a lot more on my time on the set and from Shashank, even with just our readings, than I did at Lee Strasberg. But I don't know if that's because of the institute itself or just with my approach to it at that time period. I think I was reveling more in, I have 6 months to be independent. I want to meet people and have these experiences, as opposed to, I was very taken by everything that they were teaching me. But their approach to acting, I think, didn't resonate with me as much as what Shashank taught.
And you, my dear friend, have become an urban legend in Whistling Woods. Everybody says, your alumni and
Yes.
your tales there are legendary.
You are very well researched.
No,
Mr.
man,
Rishi.
seriously, because Meghna and Mr. Ghai called me there to deliver a lecture on radio. And I feel bad for them, but for the students. But anyway, I went there and I was told at least by 3 different people, do you know that Shashank passed out of here? Shashank passed out of here. which is a great thing.
I'm really fortunate.
But your student film, which was going to be pretty cult, never saw the light of day.
It never did, yes.
Why? You had bankrolling issues.
No, we didn't. We actually made the film. But we made the film with a lot of passion, with a lot of intent. But then we realized that there are other aspects to filmmaking, which is called exhibition and distribution, and we have not put those things into place. But that film actually opened up doors for me, which wouldn't have been possible had I not made them. So it's never released, but I feel it's given me my due, because that's the film which representatives of Dharma saw, and they felt that, especially Ryan Stephens, who was a creative developer then, and he said, you know what, I really believe you can make movies. So why don't you write something for Dharma? So though the film never released, it was a passion project of a lot of students of Whistling Woods coming together. It was a film I lost a lot of money on because I was the producer. But it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot more discipline. It taught me that passion is just one aspect of making movies. But you need to be planned, you need to be sure, and you need to know how to go about even releasing a movie.
And not many students can boast of the fact that they have Mr. Shah and Ratna ma'am in their movie.
Absolutely.
And you had Ahana also. Yeah?
Yes.
So how do you manage to do that? Beg,
Not
fall
at all.
down.
Nasisa is my teacher. He's taught me acting, and he is one of the warmest, kindest human beings I know.
He's awesome, isn't he?
He
Yeah.
is. We both have a great fondness for each other. I mean, it's. I love him to death. I mean, there are days when I just would want to call him up and hear his voice, and it can comfort you. He's that powerful. And I think it was very simple. I told Nasir sir that, sir, I'm making a movie. I would like ma'am and you to do a part, and they didn't even read the script. And I wish I could ever show that film to somebody, because in that Nasiruddin Shah plays Nasiruddin Shah. And it is really, really interesting.
Someday, bro, someday.
Someday.
So what's it called? It's got a quirky title.
It's called Sherwani Kahan Hai. It was a story that happened to my friends when they were on their way for my wedding, and that's how we've retained it in the film.
That's damn cool, man.
Very cool.
So, bro, how's the football going? Mr. Director here and you seem to be spending a lot of time on the pitch with the All-Stars team, man.
Yes.
And what? You guys won a trophy or something of late?
Yeah, we did. We played a match in Pune called the Sakal Superstar Cup, and we played with a really competent team. And it was my first game with the team, and Shashank has played before. But I had 10 minutes.
So what position do you play, Shashank? What position do you
I'm
play?
right back.
Wow.
I'm the defender.
Yeah, I'm usually left wing.
We in fact won a game in Singapore, which was a charity game for Magic Bus, and that was a very tough match, and we were really proud. We won that match as well.
Yeah,
And you guys train at Andrews or somewhere, no?
At Saint-
You're damn
at
serious about
That
this
is
stuff,
close,
man.
Andrews. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's an opportunity to get together and play and learn a sport. And
Sport motivates you.
Oh, really?
Sport motivates you in the best way. I mean, I discovered this sport actually thanks to Ishaan, because Ishaan kept telling me that come with me. And one Sunday I said, let's go, let's do this. and I discovered how unfit and fat I'd become. And then I took it on as a personal challenge and said, you know what, I need to do this every Sunday and get back in shape.
Yeah.
But I think today it's become a way of life. We really look forward to a
Yeah,
games on Sunday.
it's great fun, and I in turn owe this to Ranbir, who I had the good fortune to hang around on the sets of Aidil-e Mushkil, because Karan was nice enough, gracious enough to have me. And this one day he was leaving. He was in a terrible hurry to leave set, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why he wanted to stop working and leave immediately. And then it fell upon my ears that he wants to go to a football game. And then I questioned him about it, and he said, "Why don't you come along?" And that's how it happened. It was just that nonchalant and that easy. I just went to the game and started playing with them every Sunday. And then Shashank joined us, and this is how the team is being built. It's
That is
lovely.
so cool. Janhvi, let's presume nobody's seen Sairat. What's your character like? How do you dig your teeth into her? Talk me through that.
I think that my character is a very strong girl. She's very strong-willed, but her strength is a sort of silent strength. And I think she's got an air about herself. It has a lot to do with the kind of family that she belongs to and the way that she's been brought up. She's a little bossy. She feels like she can get away with whatever she wants to get away with. And but I think she's a very inspiring girl. I know that I, for one, have learned a lot from this character. She's very different from Archie and Sairat, and I think the way Shashank has written her, he has written a fresh character, and someone who I think he has this opinion of her that's very strong, and I've tried to stay true to it. She's a very beautiful character, I think.
And really, your dancing is the bomb, dude.
Thank you so
I mean,
much. That's very kind
I've
of
seen
you.
these couple of videos. One is you at a reality show where you're just breaking out into moves,
Right.
and then you're at somebody's house. I don't know if it's your house or somebody else's house, and you just you explode.
I probably did too. It was just an opportunity to dance.
Yeah, so like Shahid, did you train with Shiamak?
I did.
Where did it all? I mean, there's obviously a lot of natural instinct, but there's
I
got to be
think
some
we
training.
owe that, both of us owe that mostly to our mother, who is an exponent of Kathak.
Yeah.
She is trained for years and years, and she's one of the most beautiful dancers that I've ever had the fortune of watching live even. So it's I think the love of it comes from the fact that we were born and raised in that kind of an atmosphere, and made aware of classical music and dance and just music all over the world and stuff. So it's mostly from there. And then I did do some formal training in Western dance as well. I did one whole year with Shiamak, who trained us personally, along with many other instructors that he has groomed himself over the years. And it was an intensive dance program. So I did that, but besides that, I didn't continue to train in a particular style, because I would want to explore as much as I can with my dancing as well. I'm very passionate about it.
And the thing about Shiamak is it's never only about the dancing, right? I mean, he'll breeze in here, he'll do an interview with me and give me a book and go away,
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's about life skills.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
about philosophy
yeah,
and
yeah.
his path in life, and also there are courses of anatomy and various other things, yoga and gymnastics, and just a holistic movement kind
But
of school.
major of his dancing, Ishaan's dancing has been taught by me.
I will take your word for it. So
Call the Shash man.
Yeah. Along with the acting, I was teaching him a little bit of dance as well on the side.
Maut na jate
And I
hain.
told Janhvi, you can learn from me, but Janhvi said, no, I'll stick to acting. And see, she's feeling it now.
But was it a no-brainer that you had to work with Ajay Atul? Not only because of the fascinating music in the original, but you always take a few tracks and you do a couple of originals and you say, okay, man, I want some variety. So, and the fact is, it's turned out so beautiful. I mean, like it's glammed up for the Hindi screen, Zingat. It's still got the jazz, the pizzazz. Is going to take over dance floors. I'm just curious to know: is there a version of Yaad Lagla in yours?
There is. It's a really, really, really beautiful song called Pehli Baar Hai Ji. And the reason to work with Ajay Atul was not just being greedy about this particular film. I have really enjoyed their music even in Agnipath when they came out. The biggest thing is I believe they are classical musicians who work with an orchestra. And I just felt that for this love story to look grand, for this love story to, feel grand, I needed musicians who understood the orchestra. And also they're very good people. I mean, I've had the best time making music with them. Also with my lyricist, Mr. Amitabh Bhattacharya. And the whole approach, the whole idea was to just make classical music, to make something which can live on for years, not worry about the immediate impact it kind of leaves of an audience, which is kind of the rut we are falling into at times today. And I think whether it is Jhingat, which we have recreated, or whether it was the original track, the Dhadak title track, I think they've done a stellar job. And also the visuals,
And your
which
Shreya's voice, man, that's as classic and old school as it gets. And how beautiful is it?
I think timeless. I wouldn't even call it old school. I would just say timeless. When they come in and they just sing on the mic, and when you have the privilege of just watching them and you realize why they are legends, and even the so-called glammed up version which it looks right now, when you start seeing the film, you'll realize that Udaipur is like that. Udaipur is almost like heaven on earth.
Picturesque.
We, after finishing shooting, we discuss it almost like every week. Can we go back to Udaipur for 2 more days, just for 3 more days?
Yeah.
So we've actually not made any attempt to make this film glamorous. We have actually tried to make it as authentic as you can. But Udaipur is glamorous.
There's
Udaipur
an
is
air
beautiful.
and a certain quality, a royal quality, even in the locals there.
Yeah.
That is so very fascinating, and they're all very proud of
Their
their
culture.
Yeah, and the Lake Pichola where the film is kind of set, where it kind of it's just the most beautiful, gorgeous place on earth. And I think what we have tried to do is
Glorious.
actually hope
Glorious
that
is the word.
glorious and hope we do justice to it, versus even trying to glam it up.
And in that aspect, coming back to the music, Amitabh Bhattacharya is quite a intriguing kind of character. I mean, he's Bong, but he's grown up in the heartland of UP.
Yes, he's
So and he's quite cool. So
He's a fascinating
was
man.
it Karan's idea to bring him on, or do you again, was it the fact that you've heard his stuff before? Where did he come in?
I've been begging him to work with me for 2 films, Humpty and Badri, but he's been busy. So this time when I finally was going to make this film, I've emotionally blackmailed him. I've gone to him and said, listen, Mr. Bhattacharya, in literally these words, saying, I have decided to work with 2 newcomers. You better do this film before I murder you and go to jail. So basically that's how. So at that point he said, ab mere paas option nahi hai, I have to do this. But it's been such a pleasure. You spoke about working with different minds, creative energies. I think I've just been blessed on this film. I worked with some excellent technicians. You were talking about the look, Mr. Vishnu Rao, who is the DOP of this film. He's just shot this film so spectacularly, and Amitabh Bhattacharya, I think it's been a pleasure. And I've locked him for my next one as well.
Lovely. That's great news. That's an announcement there. So, talk to me about Manish Malhotra. I mean, he's created magic with your mom. He continues to create magic with you. I'm given to understand that he's like a father figure, a friend, and things like that. Talk to me about him. Yeah.
He's been very close to us. I think that he started his career out with mom, and I've started mine out with him. And he's just always been a very prominent figure for as long as I can remember. I remember mom always telling me that he's a well-wisher in our life, and he meant something to her, and I think she let him in a way that she didn't let many people in. So, and he's been so sweet. He's actually been the one that told Karan about me, and so I think he was the first one to believe in me, I think, or see something in me, or I hope that he did. So he means a lot to me, to all of us, more than just someone whose clothes and fashion sense I admire. He's a very prominent figure in our lives.
And you can do that 2 a.m. call to him. I mean, if you're stuck somewhere with your clothes and this and that,
Yeah, of
you're
course.
that close. Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely, awesome. So, your debut is not Beyond the Clouds, is not this one. It is almost 10 years ago in a Mahesh Manjrekar film called, and you're never going to be able to live this down. Wah life ho to aise. So you remember Baba
Exactly
on the
my
set?
sentiments right now.
So you remember Sanjay Dutt, you remember your brother, you remember Amrita
do.
on the set? Yeah.
I
What
do.
are your memories of that set, man?
It was wonderful. I was never actually meant to be part of that film. The way it happened was that I happened to be accompanying my brother on set one day, which I did every so often during that time, and I discovered that there were 8 children in the film, and I absolutely lost my bearings. I was like, there are 8 kids in this film. I want to learn acting. I want to be a part of this. Why can't I be in it? And I think he was almost blackmailed. My 15-year-old elder brother was, 15 years older than me, was blackmailed into going up to the director and saying, my kid brother wants a shot at this. Is it possible? And I think they just put me in the frame. and they were taking a shot, and it happened to be the first shot, I guess, and they just put me in the frame.
This is hilarious.
And I'm not sure if they even intended to have me be part of the film, or if they were just going to put me, ask me to leave after that one shot just to entertain me. But I guess he saw that I was just, quiet and natural and comfortable in front of the camera. And eventually what happened was, I think Mahesh sir enjoyed me in front of the screen, and he started cutting the other kids' roles and giving it to me, for which I would get a lot of cold stares from parents.
This is the most hilarious story.
It was hilarious, but I have great memories. I mean, I remember working with Sanjay sir, and I hung around on the sets even when Arshad Varsi sir was working, who I really admire as an actor, and my brother, of course, which was the most special experience. So I had a great time, and I had a great time performing. I remember I was not officially part of the film even after it was released. I had no contract, no arrangement, nothing of the sort. I was just in the film.
Karan Johar, you obviously enjoy a great trust factor. So talk to me about Karan as a person and as a professional. He gives the nicest of interviews, but I know that he's also got an astute film brain. So your interactions with this wonderful man.
So it started off with him being my producer, because when we met for my first film, Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhaniya, we didn't know each other. He just read my script, called me to office, praised it, told me there are some things in the second half I don't like, if you can work on those. And like pretty much immediately said, and we are on, you are going to direct this film. And what I learned from him then, and which I've continued to love and learn more from him now, is he's a very, very nice person who knows how to comfort people. And if he's speaking to anyone, he gives his 100% to that person. So he never makes anyone feel that you are lesser than him or more than him. He will just comfort you. And be it anyone, he has a beautiful self-deprecating humor. So it comforts you, because he will just say the funniest thing about himself, and suddenly you are in this room with Karan Johar, who is pretty much... It just makes him human, it makes him approachable, it makes him real. And my first interaction, which I've joked with him as well, is, you've seen Karan in Coffee with Karan, wearing those suits and being in the language. And I enter his office and I'm slightly anxious, not very nervous. And I look at him sitting over there. He's sitting in a black sweatshirt, sipping a cup of coffee, and there are biscuit crumbles falling on his t-shirt. And I'm like, this is not the Karan Johar from Coffee with Karan. And then and over the years, in the last 5 years, I've realized that that's what he is as a person. He's a real person who believes in relationships which are real. As you mentioned, he has a film mind like nobody else. Like, if today he tells me, change this in a movie, I won't even question him twice, because his instinct for cinema is God-given. It is a natural, his instinct for music, for cinema, a comment or just an advice he gives you on your film, it changes the complexion of your movie. So I trust him. So from a producer, today he's my mentor. He's my mentor in life, because he's taught me how to behave. There was one season where he was hosting Jhalak Dikhla Ja with Shahid, and I had the pleasure of writing that season with him. And I saw him behave on set, and I realized how real he is, the way he deals with people. So I'm learning those things from him. I constantly learn. I try and engage myself with him as much as I can. I almost stalk him. Some people in office call me a stalker, because I'm always trying to get some time from him just to learn from him, because I think he's been in the industry so long, but he's managed to stay himself, be real, and I think that's what I'm trying to learn from him.
But I actually love the relationship with the two of you. I saw a video clip, I think it was a trailer launch, where he's taking the piss out of you because of some jacket you were wearing. And you were giving it back. And I just thought that these guys are friends. They can hang with each other for hours and entertain each other.
Well, it's going to be my honor to call him a friend. I hope so.